Alright guys, today I'll be reviewing Lightning Rod at Dollywood. This is the RMC launched coaster here, and it's an amazing ride, but it's plagued with a lot of downtime, and I'll explain all that in this review. So for starters, let's start with how to actually ride this thing, because it's an extreme challenge to get on this thing. I was there on pretty much clear days, both days, and it was still down for pretty much half the time I was there, and it was for rollbacks most of the time, which was really weird because they replaced the wood track with steel, which should make it easier for the magnets to line up, but I guess not. So it's still a pain to get on this thing. What I'd actually do is try to camp out like once it goes down, wait like an hour or so, and then try to camp out at the entrance because once this thing opens, everyone's gonna book it to it. So if you're camping at the entrance, you should be one of the first on, and you might even be able to get a re-ride before the line builds up again. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy to this thing, and trust me, it's going to break down a lot. So get ready to wait it out and be patient with this thing. So once you actually get into the queue line, there's some nice theming. It's not too good. It's not like Disney or anything, but there's like a couple hot rods. There's some car parts. There's actually a really cool effect there where like the door is kind of opened and you can see like these flickering lights, and it looks like the lights are kind of not doing what they're supposed to, I guess is the best words. I don't really know. I'm not a mechanic, but that was a bit of a cool effect in there. And then you get up into the station and they'll actually assign you a row, which kind of sucks. But I feel like all the rows are pretty similar on this. The front is slightly better in my opinion, and I'll explain why later. But yeah, all the rows are great on this. So once you do board the train, it's your basic RMC restraints, shin guards, all that. These definitely aren't the best lap bars out there, but again, they're not bad, but I could see why some people may find discomfort in them. So to start off the layout, you're going to turn to the right. You're going to hear these cars revving, and that's a bit of cool theming. And then you're going to start off the launch. This is a really underrated launch because it's got a lot of kick to it. If it was on flat ground, it'd be kind of dumb, I feel like. But since you're going uphill, you have to overcome gravity. So it's actually a really punchy launch. And then hopefully you don't roll back. Once you get over the top of the dolly, you're good. You're good for the rest of the ride. And the dolly is actually a really good element, especially in the front, because the first part of it, you definitely get a good pop of airtime in the front. In the back, you don't really get too much. You get a little floater, I guess. But then going into the drop, it almost acts like a camelback if you're in the front, because you're going to get chucked up before you actually start down the drop. But in the back, it feels like a normal drop, so that's cool. That's cool as well, but I definitely like the front for the drop, which is very weird. There's only a couple other rides I like the drop in the front more. But after that, you're going to head into the wave turn. A lot of people told me, oh, this is floater, this is kind of dumb. But no, this was amazing. This is definitely ejector. It's sustained ejector. It almost feels like one of those wave turns in the middle of Steel Vengeance, but supersized and sustained. It was amazing. And then you have a nice visual coming back down. And this is definitely the biggest strength of Lightning Rod compared to all the other RMCs is the setting. You are so far out there, like you're pretty much gone, isolated from the rest of the park until you're done with the quad down. It's amazing. You're so far back there in the woods. You got all the trees surrounding you, and the night rides on this thing are incredible. So then you're going to enter the two twist and shouts. In my opinion, the first one's actually better. You get probably the same level of airtime. It's ejector for both, but I feel like the first one's slightly stronger actually because you get a lot more laterals, whereas like the second one kind of just feels like a normal outer bank that really doesn't throw you to the side all that much. But this first one definitely tries to toss you into the hillside, which is really cool. And then this whole time, you're just feeling that sense of speed. It almost feels like a giga how fast you're going. And that's another thing. Just looking at this thing, it looks massive. Like, people say Zodra or whatever's intimidating. If Zodra looks bigger than this thing, that's crazy. Because this looks absolutely massive when you walk up to it. But then after those two twist and shouts, you're going to enter the 6 down or whatever. I know it's the quad down, but it's really 6 airtime hills in a row because you got a step up going into it, and then you've got this speed hill at the end of it. So it's really 6. But either way, this is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, sequence on any coaster. It might be better than I-305's triple snaps. I don't know. But yeah, basically, all 6 of these hills are just gonna try to throw you out of your seat as hard as possible. It might not be quite Skyrush first drop level, but it's up there with some of the strongest airtime moments. And the fact is that you got 6 of these in a row, and you basically have no break in between them. You're just getting tossed out of your seat, getting absolutely crazy ejector airtime, and you have basically no time to recover. The only recovery Basically, the only recovery time you have is when it does these lateral jolts, which is actually really cool how it does this. So you basically hit one of these hills, and it happens more towards the end of the sequence. But yeah, towards the end of the sequence, you'll hit one of these hills, and then you'll get thrown to the right. You'll hit another one, you'll get thrown to the left. And that is so cool how it mixes in laterals with this. And of course, this whole time, you're careening down the hillside and you're picking up a ton of speed. So when you hit that final speed hill, that's probably the best moment of the ride because you've just got so much speed there built up. You feel it all, and you also get probably the strongest moment of ejector on the ride, honestly. After that, you're going to hit the half loop. I don't know why this is a half loop. It's not a loop at all. But yeah, it's basically a bank turn. It delivers some positives. There's not really any positives on this ride, but that's okay because this dishes out a little bit at least. And then you have a great pop of ejector airtime heading into the brakes because at the top of this half loop, it kind of steepens almost, and that gives you a great pop of airtime there. And then you hit the brakes, like I said. So it's a really short ride. That's really what's holding it back from being higher than number 3 for me. Is it's short, but for what it is, it's probably got the best elements for like how long it is on any coaster I've been on. So like element to ride time ratio or something like that. I don't really know, but yeah, it's incredible basically. I will say it does have a little pothole after the first wave turn, but that really didn't bother me. But that being said, I like rides like Predator at Darien Lake, so it definitely might bother others. And I was talking about those night rides earlier, and yeah, this is definitely my number one at night. It's unreal being back there so secluded from the rest of the park. It's basically pitch black back there. It's incredible. So for Lightning Rod's final score, I'm going to give it a 993 out of 1,000. It's almost perfect. I just wish it was a bit longer. Maybe they could have had an extra 2 hills at the end or something. That would have made it a lot better. But for what it is, it's phenomenal. It's a top 3 coaster for me, and who knows, I might even pump it up higher as time goes on. But that's my review of Lightning Rod at Dollywood. Let me know what you guys thought of this down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.